Hello, young children. How are you all? Today we begin with yet another beautiful poem about beautiful objects of nature. You can see in front of you few pictures which described the calm, the serene, and the peaceful beauty that the nature bestows upon us in form of flowers, in form of rainbow, in form of the beautiful sunset scene, in form of the beautiful flowers, etc. And today we talk about the poem A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. And the poem not only begins with this line, but also this line is very important because it has the theme for the whole poem. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. We will ponder more on this line as we move further. Let us know something about the poet yet first. John Keats, from 1795 to 1821, he was a British romantic poet. He was a trained surgeon, but he decided to devote himself completely to poetry. Now, this poem is an excerpt from his poem Endymion, a poetic romance. It is based on a Greek legend in which Endymion, a beautiful young shepherd and poet who lived on Mount Latmos, had a vision of Cynthia, the moon goddess. He saw this beautiful goddess of moon, Cynthia, and this man, Endymion, this shepherd, he decided that he will search for her. And as he wandered away through the forest and down under the sea, the experiences that he has during this search for that beautiful goddess of moon, those experiences, the beauty of nature that he experiences, the beauty in the forest, the beauty of the sea, the beauty of the water. So whatever he experiences on this journey of his, he writes it all in this poem. He speaks about all the things of beauty that have been bestowed upon us by the supreme power, that is God. Now here we have in front of us something, a picture that tells more about the life of human beings. It changes with time, experiences decay, death, desperation, hopelessness, despondence, and sometimes we experience that the people are inhuman and cruel, they are selfish, they are gloomy, sad, feeling sad for some reason or the other, and sometimes they adopt dark and unhealthy ways of life to achieve success, to achieve their goals, to fulfill whatever they want to achieve. And all this in their life bring suffering and sorrow. Now this was about human life. Next we have something about the nature. Nature, on the other hand, in contrast to the life of human beings, nature on the other hand is eternal. In nature, it is it is forever, it is changeless, near to perfection, very beautiful. Nature is beautiful. There's a saying, nature is beauty, and beauty is truth, and truth is beauty. So nature itself is beauty. It's all boundless and heavenly. Heavenly, it gives us a heavenly feeling, a pleasure as one is in the heaven. It gives us boundless joy. There's no limit to the happiness, to the comfort and the pleasure that the nature gives to human beings. Now, introduction of the poem. This poem depicts that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. This is the main theme of the poem. This is the message that the poem gives. A joy even in the mirth of diseases, sufferings and disappointments of life. This joy of beauty comes to people through their senses. They can only feel the beauty and feel the inner peace and calm in their minds. He is excited, the poet is excited by the beauty of the external world and therefore have wonderful and delightful experiences. The trees, the flowers, the streams of river, the streams of water, mountains, sun and moon are all the objects of beauty, and these objects, these beautiful objects, provide joy to human beings forever and forever. And now let us begin with the explanation of the poem A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. Now let us know, what does the poet mean to say? A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Very important line. It means that a beautiful thing gives us eternal, everlasting happiness. It gives us never ending happiness. It is a constant source of pleasure. It is a perennial source of joy. It is a permanent source of joy. And it leaves an indelible, it leaves an unforgettable imprint and impact on our minds. And it is intransient in nature. Beauty is intransient in nature, and it transcends time. So a thing of beauty is a permanent joy, is a permanent source of joy. Forever means you can have all sorts of vocabulary words for this word forever. Eternal, everlasting, perennial, permanent, constant, continuous, never-ending source of joy and pleasure. Its loveliness increases. Loveliness refers to the charm, the beauty, the charm that a beautiful thing has. Now, the poet tries to say that the charm, the beauty, the pleasure derived from a beautiful thing keeps on increasing manifold. It keeps on increasing many times each time we experience it. You know, whenever we experience beauty, a beautiful object, a beautiful thing, whenever we visualize it in our minds, what happens? The beauty, the experience remains fresh in our minds. We experience the same kind of pleasure, the same kind of relaxation, the same kind of joy, the same happiness that we had experienced when we connected with that particular thing of beauty for the first time ever. Means to say that this beautiful object, this beautiful thing gives us the same pleasure again and again. And this pleasure, this joy, this happiness keeps on increasing, keeps on multiplying with every beautiful thought. So its charm, its beauty, its effect keeps on increasing with the passage of time. It will never pass into nothingness. You know, the joy that a beautiful thing provides is eternal. It will never fade away. Pass into nothingness means, actually it means it will never become meaningless. It will never fade away. It will never decrease. The joy provided to us on experiencing a beautiful thing will never become valueless, its value will never be decreased. It will never be devalued. In fact, its imprint or impact or effect on our mind is never lessened or is never erased. So, therefore, you know, the poet here is trying to say that its loveliness can never die out with the passage of time. Instead, the joy that a beautiful object, the beautiful thing gives to us keeps on increasing many times with time, and it is immortal. But will keep a bower quiet for us. So, bower refers to a shady, peaceful place, especially under the tree. So, beauty provides us with peaceful and serene experiences. It helps us to feel calm and relaxed, like under the shade of a tree, we feel pleasure and relaxed, because the shade of a tree provides or gives us cool comfort. Likewise, in a similar way, the beautiful things stores for us a quiet bower, a treasure which acts as a peaceful shelter against the bad times, against the unpleasant times. For the poet, beauty is like a beautiful shady tree. It is like a shelter which gives good health, good peace of mind, inner peace, inner calmness, and relaxation to a person. And a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. The joy beauty gives us, similar to the joy that we experience when we have a sound, good, or a blissful sleep that is full of pleasant and comforting dreams. In other words, you can say beauty helps us to get healthy or a sound sleep. It has a positive effect on one's health. A beautiful object gives us good health and peace, keeping our minds relaxed even in disturbed times or in moments of mental turmoil. Even if we are mentally disturbed at times. So what gives us strength? What gives us inspiration? It is the beauty. It is the beauty of the beautiful things that we experience. And quiet breathing here refers to the relaxing and the refreshing moments that a person experiences when the person has good health, experiences sound sleep. The person is going to breathe silently and quietly. When a person is disturbed, the breathing is disturbed. It moves a little fast. But if the person is breathing quietly and silently and there is calmness, means the person is normal. The person is happy and relaxed. So that refreshment that a person feels, that relaxation that a person feels on seeing, on experiencing a beautiful thing, which leads to a sound sleep and further leads to good health by removing all the negative things like anger, like frustration, like aggression, like depression. And this makes breathing smooth and comfortable. So in this stanza, you can say the poet experiences a beautiful thing which gives sound sleep because it results in healthy body and healthy mind. It provides mental peace and tranquility. My question here is, what disturbs mental peace? What disturbs the mental peace? The stress, the tensions, the problems, the difficulties, the turmoils of life. Therefore, on every morrow, we come to the next line. Therefore, on every morrow, morrow refers to tomorrow, means the next day. Every morning are we reading. Reading is creating, weaving a flowery band, a band of flowers, a garland of flowers to bind us to the earth. So every day, poet says, we are creating a band, a garland of flowers. Now, garland of flowers refers to the beautiful things. Whenever we admire beautiful things, we strengthen our bond, we renew our bond with the nature, with the earth. So every morning we get up from our sound sleep, we experience the beauty of nature, and flower which represents a beautiful thing, we keep on weaving a garland in our minds of all the beautiful memories that we have experienced in the past days. And this is a storehouse. This becomes a treasure of beautiful memories in our mind. So whenever we will rethink these memories, the joy will be relived. We will experience the same joy again and again. Our memories will become refreshed. So the poet is saying, it is the beauty that fills us with the spirit to live. Every morning, the bond that we share with nature is renewed when we weave a beautiful band of flowers, a beautiful string of flowers. Flowers are representative of admiration towards the beautiful things. Beauty inspires. Beauty builds in us a desire to live through the sad moments and all the sad things that we experience in life. Spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all. Now, in these first 4 lines of this stanza, the poet is telling us what all causes suffering and pain in our life. Life is a struggle. Life is a struggle where we want to achieve, where we keep on searching for something or the other, where we keep on, where we keep on looking out for something or the other. We want some wishes of ours to be fulfilled. And in order, when they are not fulfilled, when we are not able to achieve our goals, what happens is there is despondence in our lives. So list of things that causes suffering and pain are many, and they are: number one, despondence. Despondence is hopelessness, the sadness, the dejection, this disappointment that we experience in our lives, the pain, the suffering that we experience in our lives, which brings despondence, which brings hopelessness in our lives. Furthermore, what causes suffering and pain? Of the inhuman dearth of noble natures. Inhuman, the poet here refers to those people who are selfish, who are not generous, who are inhuman or cruel in nature, those evil people who have no human values. They cause suffering and pain to the other human beings. What else causes this? Dearth of noble natures. Dearth means lack, shortage. There is lack of noble creatures on this earth. Noble creatures, noble souls are lacking. Their number is reducing with every passing day. Then, of the gloomy days. Our days become gloomy because, whenever we experience defeat in our life, whenever we are not able to win over something that we want to, what we experience? We experience hopelessness, we experience sadness, and our days become gloomy, our days become sad. Of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways made for our searching. Made for our searching means life, as I told you, is a struggle for success. We are every now and then searching success. We are trying to achieve our goals. And in order to achieve our goals, in order to achieve success, what we do? We adopt unhealthy ways of life. These unhealthy ways of life bring distress, pain, and grief in the life of a person. And what is referred to as by the over-darkened ways? Those are the trials and tribulations that a person faces in his or her life. Trials and tribulations means the sufferings, the obstacles, the difficulties, the problems of life, the ups and downs of life, the bad moments of life. So, the poet is saying, yes, in spite of all. All here refers to all the things referred to in the first 4 lines. All the things that cause suffering and pain. Despondence, inhuman dearth of noble natures, gloomy days, unhealthy and over-darkened ways. All this causes suffering in our lives. So, in spite of all the negativities of life, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. So, there is enough darkness in our lives. There are enough problems in our lives. There is hopelessness. There are disappointments. There is pain. There is grief. There is all kinds of distress a person feels in his or her life. But what saves us from all these negativities of life? All these problems, all these sufferings, all these pains that we experience, that is mentioned in the first 4 lines of this stanza, all this leads to negativity. People become negative. They develop negative thoughts towards life. They become sad. They become dejected. They feel dejected. They feel disappointed. They become hopeless. Their spirits are lowered. So what saves a person from all this? What helps us to survive in such bad times? Beauty in one shape or the other. Beauty in one form or the other. Beauty in some form, beauty in some shape moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Moves away means removes the pall, the cover of darkness, the cover of sadness from our dark spirits, from our sad spirits, from our sad souls. So beauty is something that inspires us to live. Yes, in spite of all. What removes the darkness from our sad spirits? It is the beauty in one form or the other. Some beautiful thing is going to remove this sadness from our life. Whenever we become pessimistic, whenever the negative thoughts disturb the peace of mind, beauty comes to heal us, because beauty is said to be having a therapeutic quality. It's kind of a therapy. It has a therapeutic quality. It removes darkness, it shows light, it shows the enlightened and the inspired ways of life, inspired path of life. It removes despondency, it removes misery, sadness, sufferings, and hopelessness in our lives. All this causes restlessness, but beauty makes us peaceful. It gives peace, it gives calmness, it gives inspiration. It saves the sad soul from being directionless, because beauty makes way for hope. It leads us towards hopefulness, towards hopeful situations. It enlivens our spirits. It heals our moods whenever we are in a pensive mood, whenever we are in a sad mood. So it drives away the sadness, the despair from the dark corners of our life. And we find happiness where? In beautiful objects of nature. In spite of all the hopelessness and gloom that exist in life, we can find relaxation, we can find joy, we can find happiness in the objects that God has bestowed us with, the beautiful objects, the nature on this earth. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon. Now, the poet further on gives us a list of beautiful things that he experiences on his journey through the forest, through the nature. He says that there is beauty in the sun and moon. You know, sun and moon gives brightness. Sometimes the brightness, the heat of the sun, the cold feeling that a moon gives to us, that the moon gives to us, all this gives us pleasure. All this makes us feel comfortable. All this gives us peace. So there is beauty in the brightness. Both of these give to the human beings. The third, in fact, sun and moon have been the first and the second. The third in the list is the trees. They are the trees, whether old or young. Trees act as a shady place for rest. Sprouting a shady boon. Sprouting is providing, giving a shady boon, a shady shelter for simple sheep. Simple sheep is the innocent sheep. Because, here we have to keep a track of the symbol that the poet uses in his poetry. Actually, the sheep has been referred to as, the sheep of God is we, the humans, because we are his followers, the common people. Like Lord Christ was considered in Bible, was considered a shepherd, and his sheep followed him. So we follow the Lord, we follow the Almighty, we follow the Lord, we follow the God. Whatever he has created, we are obliged and thankful to the God for giving us such beautiful things in life. So common people who have faith in the bounties, in the beautiful objects, innumerable, I would say, the limitless bounties provided by God. So sheep is a symbol of the common people, the human beings, because they are the followers of God. So the trees, whether old or young, are a symbol of protection. They give us a shady shelter, a symbol of protection, a symbol of shelter, a symbol of shady peace, because they protect us from heat and rain. Anything, the poet means to say, anything that gives us pleasure, that gives us comfort, that gives us joy, that gives us happiness, that gives us relaxation, anything that gives this peace to our inner soul, to our inner mind, is beautiful. He finds beauty in all the things that provides relaxation and calmness to his mind. Then further he talks about the daffodils, and such are daffodils with the green world they live in. He sees beauty in daffodils. Daffodils are beautiful flowers which are surrounded by the green plants. With the green world they live in the forest surrounded by the green plants. And he moves ahead and talks about clear rills, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. Clear rills refers to the clear streams of water that for themselves a cooling covert make. Cooling provides a feeling of provides a cooling comfort. Covert is cover, protection, which makes one feel comfortable. Like during the rainy season we wear a raincoat, like during the winter season we protect ourselves, we cover ourselves with woolen clothes. Likewise, during the hot season, what gives us a cool comfort, what provides us relaxation, what makes us feel pleasurable? It is the clear stream of water. So he says the streams of water which are natural source of water, and water is considered the elixir of life. ELIXIR means the amrit of life. During the hot season, these clear streams of water provide cool comfort and relief to the people, and that is why it leads us to have a feeling of pleasure. And so there is beauty in clear rills of clear streams of water. Then he speaks about furthermore about the mid-forest brake, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Mid-forest brake is bushes. Mid-forest, in the middle of the forest. The bushes that grow in the middle of the forest, which are rich, which are full of, which are brimming with, which are overflowing with the fair, the beautiful. Fair means beautiful. Musk rose, the name of a flower. Blooms means flowers, which are full of musk rose, beautiful musk rose flowers. There is beauty in those bushes also. So bushes are the undergrowth in the middle of the forest. So these bushes are brimming with beautiful musk rose flowers. All of these are blessing bestowed on all creatures by nature, by earth, and they are a boon for us. They seem to be, ordinary things. All these things, trees, the sun, the moon, daffodils, clear streams of water, the bushes, the daffodils, the flowers, any kinds of flowers. So we will feel that they are all very, very ordinary, very normal things. But these ordinary things become extraordinary because they have the ability to lift our sad spirits, because they have the ability to inspire us to live our life even though there is so much sorrow and suffering in our life. And furthermore, he talks of something very, very important. He means to say in the coming lines, in the last 4 lines, he means to say that beauty is not just physical but also spiritual. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. All lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens brink. So here he says about the people who have died a grand death. He says that people who have done glorious deeds, people who have done heroic deeds, people who have those great men. Mighty dead means the powerful people, the great men of history who have sacrificed their lives for a noble cause. These people have become immortal. And what has made them immortal? The deeds, the magnificent and glorious acts that they have done during their lifetime. So they are kept alive in our memories How? When we hear or read lovely tales about their bravery, about their brave acts, about their glorious acts, about their heroic acts. So the poet here finds beauty in death also. You know, let us see one thing. Life is not just about growth, it is about decay also. Life and death, growth and decay, they are contrasting with each other, but they go parallel with each other. Where there is growth, there is decay. Where there is life, there is death. The poet means to say, the list that he has provided to us till now, till musk rose blooms, he speaks of life, but furthermore he speaks of death. He says beauty is very much there in death also, provided the death needs to be grand, the death needs to be magnificent. There should be grandness associated with the death. Only then the death becomes beautiful. So he refers to the mighty dead because beauty can be seen not only in birth and growth but also in death and decay. Now we've heard or read the magnificent stories, the lovely tales of brave men who achieved glory in death. These people, their stories, they are an everlasting source of motivation to us. They keep on inspiring us. Like nature, their tales inspire the human beings, the generations to come. They are like an endless fountain. You will notice a colon after heard or read. So lovely tales, whether we've heard them or read them about these great people, about the brave acts of these great people who have died, who these powerful, these great men of history, whenever we hear lovely tales or whenever we have read lovely tales about them, these lovely tales are like an endless fountain. They are never ending source of inspiration. Nature, you know, they are like nature, which is the elixir of life, which is the most important creation of God. Like nature, which is the never ending fountain that uplifts the spirits of human beings, that energizes our body and mind. Likewise, the immortal drink that pours onto us, that comes to us, immortal drink refers to the eternal source of water, which comes from the heaven's brink, which comes to us from the brink, refers to the edge of the heaven, edge of the sky, which is the home of God, the door of God's home. So the poet says beauty in all respects is an endless fountain from where we can drink the immortal elixir of life. It is a perennial source of motivation. Like the lovely tales keep on inspiring the human beings. We keep on gaining inspiration from the people, from reading their stories or hearing their stories, hearing about what great deeds they have done in their lifetime. We keep on gaining inspiration. So like the nature, their stories are also like a perennial source of motivation for us. And nature, that has been a very, very important blessing of God to all the human beings on the earth. It is a gift showered upon us by all the divine powers. I hope you will agree with me when I say beauty is the greatest gift of God to man. This beauty is eternal, it is everlasting. And in the beauty of this eternal and everlasting nature, the men on this earth, they derive their perennial source of joy and happiness from this beauty, from this eternal and everlasting source of happiness, that is nature. So you need to know that the poet uses the image of a perennial fountain which pours on us, which showers on us different various bounties, various beautiful things of nature in the form of immortal drink from the heavens above. He gives us a list of beautiful things, and he means to say that nature is an endless bounty which is poured from the heavens above. It is like an endless fountain of immortal drink. It is so because beauty is a constant source of motivation, and we people derive this eternal source of joy from these beautiful things. So he compares the nature, which is a constant source of happiness, the beautiful things, with the lovely tales that keep on inspiring the human beings for generations and generations. Now we have the theme of the poem. Things of beauty have an embalming effect, a relaxing effect. They help us cope with negativity. It removes all the negativity, all the negative thoughts, all pessimistic thoughts. It makes a person positive. It makes a person optimistic. It makes life more meaningful. God has blessed us with objects of beauty. The only thing we are required to do is we need to bond with the beautiful things. Every morning, every day, every morning, every next day of our life, we need to strengthen our bond with nature. And how do we strengthen it? Whenever we experience something beautiful and we are all praised for it, when we admire those beautiful things, the bond is created in our minds. List of things of beauty: sun, moon, deep forest, sheep grazing in open pastures, daffodils, rivulets refer to the clear rills of water, musk roses, tombs built to honor heroes, that is in the grand and magnificent tombs and monuments built in the memory of those mighty people who have died a glorious death. So those help us remind of those, help us to remember those people, the great deeds of those people. The legends or tales from classics and scriptures. These things of beauty are like blessings from heaven. They sweeten they bring joy to our bitter lives. What are the qualities of a thing of beauty? It gives everlasting joy, ageless, never goes waste, shelters and protects like a bower, like a shady place, like a protected place. It relaxes and comforts and fills in us some kind of energy. It invigorates us. Now, the list of things that cause pain. Remember that line, spite of despondence? The 4 lines there. Ill health, gloomy days, depression. Lack of goodness in human beings, the cruelty of human beings, lack of human values. In sad moments, things of beauty come to our rescue and remove the gloom from our lives. So, here we are. I hope you've understood the poem, and I hope you will remember each and everything taught to you. Thank you.